And we're live.
Hello!
Our third was sitting on that button. Praise the sun!
Beautiful people, what's going on? It is in fact Wednesday. Yeah. Check it out. Hey, we're ready for a little bit of a pre-show. We're coming through you from like the correct category, unlike Pedro's stream yesterday, which was talk shows and podcasts.
I thought I changed that.
Hi, Arthur, and hi,
Why wouldn't I have changed that?
You know, the only reason I will mention this is because I didn't have to change it. This is part of Wednesday when you come in and you're like, okay, let's make sure everything's together for the street. And like, oh, well, I guess you were doing Dark Souls under talk shows and podcasts yesterday.
Oops.
I'm going to call the internet police on you, man.
Well, all the streams have ASMR in them as a tag, so that works too.
But that's the tag. Twitch is only a bit picky about the category.
That's the thing, man. I don't know. I'm good in the right categories and the right spots and all that fun stuff. But, you know the internet police guy? I did a little research. He's like, yeah, he died. I'm like, yeah, he did. I'm sure he did. But that... You remember that? I'm going to call the internet police. You don't remember that meltdown? It might have been pre-YouTube.
I think I remember something about that, but I don't actually remember watching it.
So today I have something special since Pedro and Ven teased me about a sippy cup. This time, Steve Husband approved of this. This is a penguin toddler's sippy cup.
Let's be real. The real story is... Here's the real story. Steve's just tired of cleaning up stuff in the house. And he's like, yo, here you go.
Also, you're French kissing that penguin whenever you want to have a drink. So.
I know. I need to actually make the straw a little longer. It's a little short.
I'm telling you, stainless steel straw is the best way to go.
Yeah, actually, I can get an orange one of those because I think it's cute that the straw is the beak.
Okay, we'll have a battle, Pedro. You can try to stab me with that can. This. Let's see if I can stab you with this.
Might not stab all that well, but it's a very good cutting implement.
Let's see how many times I can stab you if you get that in fashion down. Like, take your time.
Arthur and Hot Jewel and Penguin action. Steve Husband.
Totally sucking face.
Their handles. So cute. It was the cutest. There's not that many penguin ones, but that was definitely the cutest, most charming.
Even Strider is dropping the lewd. Either that or he's really, really narcissistic.
I think there's a tropical storm like rolling through Florida and Texas because I saw that Charter had a few things and they're like, yo, power's out in some places, man. So you're down in those areas, man. Be careful. I know it's no fun.
Hello, brother.
Jellybean.
Have a good lunch.
Alright. That should behave. That's locked. I gotta get something to drink and we got 6 minutes.
Okay, I gotta take a break too. Is that okay, Pedro?
Go do your thing.
Okay.
So
That's the Sudry Turret t-shirt.
I think this Friday, or it might be next Tuesday, man. Shipping is so dicey to figure out these days. I'll be able to finally finished. I hate sitting on videos because I don't know if I can publish that video publicly now because I don't know if the end's accurate. On that Doke DAC. But I can't delete a lot of raw footage, so I have very little space on my drive to do anything.
See, that's the point that it justifies getting like a 2 terabyte hard drive just to put that stuff in down the side.
It's messed up world when you're shifting around on a 1 terabyte hard drive that does nothing but store footage. Like, yeah.
That's basically my 1 terabyte hard drive. It's where the video goes after Handbrake is done chewing on it. And it's where the downloads pictures, where the music folder used to be, but now the music lives on the NAS, so. Oh, the You Died mug, yeah. I've had that mug, like the store page to buy that mug in front of me many, many times. Not the Redbubble one specifically, but there are other stores that sell them. It's like, I want it, but how much is that?
Sentry turret voice of man.
Okay, £10.50 is not the worst. I've seen much more expensive.
The only Sentry turret voice effect is like bullets. I've been playing Black Mesa, so yeah, dee dead, and followed by like a beep. Yeah,
The turrets from Portal. Are you still there?
I think the best mug that I saw, if I ever bought a coffee mug, it would be strictly to have it, because they don't hold enough liquid, they're shot glasses. The one I saw was the temperature sensitive reveal with a hot mug, which was the opening to Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that dude said. Like when you're in the cart.
You're finally awake?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. It's like, right on.
Yeah, I bought Nori one of the big mugs. It's not like the standard size mug, it's one of the big ones. That does the temperature reveal, but it's the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, the animated version. And it's all black with just the eyes, and then you pour hot stuff at it, and you get the stripey effect.
Makes me want to go back and play Alice.
I did that last year. I think I got to the water level, that level that you need to be underwater a lot. It's like, oh, that's right. This is a game from the 90s, isn't it?
Even to this day, man, I'm impressed what they were able to do with the Quake engine.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't think they knew that they could get away doing that. There it was.
It was that one and Heretic 2. It's like, oh, they made 3D action platformers with the Quake engine. Huh. Heretic 2 I liked a lot because I think it was the only game that I'd ever played at the time where you had like a spear staff that you could use to do the pole jump and get farther.
Okay. Well, this was back
that was
in the
like
days
my thing.
when,
that's what I remember about that game.
ID Software, they would release a tech demo. They called it a game to show off what their engine was capable, so you would license it.
Yep.
That worked all the way up
Hexen
until
2,
Rage.
also very good.
You know, they made the tech demo, and I was like, nah, we're done.
I played 5 hours of that tech demo. It's like, this is starting to get a bit repetitive. I think I get the picture now.
I played it. The last time I touched Heretic legitimately was in the 90s. So, anything against it. I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah, the Heretic 2, it was like third person.
I never played Thief either.
The first one had its ups and downs. The last level, or second to last? No, I think it was the last one. Shale Bridge Cradle. That will always be in my mind. Because in the other levels, yeah, you had the zombies and you had the dinosaurs and you had the regular humans. Which, the zombies were annoying, but they were doable. The dinosaurs were just... it's like, it's a forced stealth thing, because if the dinosaur sees you, you're dead. But the last level, they play it very carefully. They don't give you any, like, idea of what's about to happen. They let you go to the store before the level starts and buy stuff. And then you go into the place, you get the thing, and they take away all your stuff. It's like, now make it out.
Well, you could be as petty as I was, I think, earlier this week before I hit the really crashy point in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which it's all the same game. You know, look, here's a fort, here's a base, a bunch of bad guys. Usually in this one, somebody had to rescue in the middle. Like 3 times, it just had the nope cascade take effect, where I ended up getting killed. I'm like, Third time I just had it. I was like, you know what? We're going to spend the next hour and a half stealth killing every single person. Working from the outside in until we get down to the last guy who went to go ring the bell, which I'd booby trapped. So there was the satisfaction of slowly walking out of there while hearing the area cleared. Yep. Probably says more about me than the game, but hey.
Soldier of Fortune, yeah, I played Soldier of Fortune 2 a lot online.
I gotta get something to drink before we get going, so.
I got told that I wasn't allowed to use the shotgun anymore. Because I used to kill everyone that showed up in front of me with a shotgun.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, Ubisoft releases the same game twice a year. One's called Assassin's Creed, the other one's called Far Cry.
Mugs, see all the max. Praise the sun.
Dark Souls mugs. It's the same game. It's always the same game. It's like EA with the EA Sports stuff. It's always the same game, just a slight engine upgrade every now and then, and the roster upgrade. That's it.
Aw. So how is everyone today? How are you, Artherin? This night, it's night for you. And Strider, it's just past morning. Barely.
Oh, come on, he lives down the road from you.
Yeah. Oh, now you're laying under AC. Good. Yeah, I'm doing good. Artherin, Steve husband is home today, which is nice.
It has been a while.
Oh, hi, Romeo, said Vicious. How you doing? Ooh, it's hot.
Yeah, it didn't hit 30C here, but it was 25 or 26. Which is basically open all the windows weather, and the fan that Haplo gave me just cranked all the way. Like,
yeah, my brother has been doing 70, 80-hour weeks. I am, well, going stir crazy. New job was... yeah. a new job during the pandemic.
Yeah, these last 2
That's
weeks
hard.
for me, for some reason, well, I know exactly what the reason is. It's because London finally realized, wait a second, we don't actually have to do anything with our laptops. We can just tell the Cambridge guys to do it. So, yeah. Yeah.
A lot of work.
Migrating about 1,000 people from one laptop to another.
Oh, joy.
That sounds like a management issue. You shouldn't have 1,000 people trying to use a single laptop. NHS, they need to spend some more money.
It's not a single laptop, but it's a single network, so...
1, 2, 3, that's lock. Okay, equipment. Everyone behave.
Okay, yes.
What year, Mir? I mean, it's $20. It's probably worth paying the $20 just to find out.
Yeah.
It's a $20 laptop, man. You'll get exactly what you expect from a $20 laptop. I'm sure it'll deliver. If it cuts on, consider it a bonus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good if it has an i7.
Even if it's a first gen i7, yeah, that's probably worth it.
All right. Pedro, do you need to get anything?
I need to pee. Give me just a moment.
Make it happen. Preferably not in front of the camera.
Yeah, Mir, that's good. I have a much older one. I have an old dual core one.
I think the laptop I have is... Jeez. Man.
I have so many I've lost count. So... Like Pedro.
I don't even think it's gigahertz. It's probably like 400 or 600 megahertz. Dell business, whatever. It's like that thick. It was thick back in the day.
Yeah, most of my laptops are part of my vintage computer collection. I have some really old MacBooks and Pentium 3s. I have even older. I've got some 486 one. I've got a 286 one. But my two newer laptops are my Asus Republic of Gamers. I have two of those, two different generations.
Yeah, man.
Yes, cool Romeo.
Buying this stuff to play with it. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's a way to look at it.
Ven's getting ready to get a hopefully another purchase on eBay.
I need to move. Chat's up a wee high.
Steve Husband's eating something. I can smell it. I'm not used to smelling things while I'm on the air.
Well, you just want to be able to eat something in peace.
Yeah.
I assure you it was strategic. He was like, all right. All right. Yeah, that loaded, and we can get underway. Select. Let's kick that over, and press all buttons. There we go. Also, people, do not put reverb in your podcast.
Are you telling Future Fun that?
Oh.
No, I saw that on our audio engineering this morning, and then people were like, oh, look at the examples. I'm like, what? Are you trying to make this a thing? No. Words failed me.
Oh, for the whole thing? Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like bad stereo panning too. I'm like, well, it gives
Yes.
this person's on the left. I'm like, do you want to make someone nauseous? That's a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
Or just have someone go, no, I'm not dealing with that.
Mm-hmm. Stereo recording voice, stay away from it. You don't know what you're doing. A. B. You still don't know what you're doing. Don't do it.
Get the ASMR mics with the 2 ears. That's your stereo microphone right there.
In 3, 2. Welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we can sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things, the stranger things going on. Yeah, you like that Netflix? I'm going to start throwing that in the beginning. Going on in the world of Linux, open source, and all the other fun things we come up with. I am Vince Stone, joined every week by Jill Bryant and Juan Pedro Mateus, and everyone watching us live. Hope you're having a happy Wednesday. For everyone watching us live, thanks for, not doing work right now. You can come say hi live in the chat. Getting a lot of
And if you're
stuff
doing work right now, stop.
Pedro, some people can multitask poorly.
I can't.
I
I'm not
can't
ashamed to
either.
admit I'm a one-track kind of guy.
Yes.
Oh, man. So, what's been going on since last week? I do want to make this, I said this on Saturday, is, Pedro, you got to go check that YouTube comment. We were talking about the 2400G running, I think, like Talos or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he's not done. He's like, I will have you know I've made a blog post addressing the Linux Not Game podcast. I'm like, oh, wow. What?
Oh.
I need to go check that out then.
I haven't looked at it yet because I'm saving it as a little present. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch this
Okay.
and read through it. But here's a reminder. If you're in our Discord, if you're a patron or Twitch sub, I put the shows as soon as I'm done with them. And I'm saying this is just like the shows up. It's usually the video version. I'll not have show notes, timestamps, or anything as soon as it gets rendered. And this goes for our pre super shows and live and uncut series and all that fun stuff in the announcement tab on Discord. So usually on Wednesdays, it's only about 30 or 40 minutes before you would get it regularly. But like on Saturdays, man, there's going to be hours before because I still have to break down all the podcast, all the other video versions, and do the notes and all that fun stuff. There's your little PSA. Also, with a little bit of luck, I'll be getting, convincing someone on eBay that no, they're Moto MK2 because I have an MK1 I've tested. I want to test an MK2. Probably not going to do an MK3 because those are still astronomically overpriced. Firewire interface. And on top of that, I'm going to be doing a series of like, this is how you buy a 3-cent Firewire interface off of eBay, plug it into your box, turn it into a sound card in like 10 minutes. Don't be scared of the Fire Reapers. And it'll sound better and perform better, lower latency, fewer X runs than any YouTuber special that you're going to go out and pick up. So if it sounds like a thing, stay tuned. That will be coming down the pipe. What's new with you, Jill?
Aw. So that sounds cool, Vin. And I actually had a really great time on Linux Unplugged yesterday. It was a really fun show. And I've really been enjoying playing Slime Rancher on Steam this last week. It's a fun, relaxing game. You collect the slimes and sell their poo. But it's a really fun game. And I got a new penguin sippy cup.
Kiss that penguin. Kiss it good.
Yeah.
That's like...
There it is.
Pedro.
Sorry. I got distracted, all right?
Yeah, you did. We're going to roll it back to the multitasking.
No, again, one track mind. Over here, I've been busy with work for the most part. I have been trying to get Box 86 to work on the Pinebook since it comes with ARM64. It comes with an ARM64 OS, and I haven't been able to get the ARMHF versions of the OS to boot. So that's been an interesting experience trying to cross-compile stuff on ARM. It's a learning experience for me. So.
You learn that you don't want to do it after a while.
Yeah.
But it's worth doing the setup the first time you try to compile something on ARM. You're like, oh no.
Yep.
But maybe you don't want to deal with the non-x86 laptop experience. You need something a little more powerful and you want to rock and roll with, I don't know, how about a KDE Slimbook?
You can. And this one, this one looks a lot more interesting than the one that I had a look at all the way back then. The power button has stopped doing its best delete impression, and the price seems to have come down significantly, not to mention it is also a Ryzen-powered 14 or 15.6-inch IPS screen with a Ryzen 7 4800H, which, if you're not aware, is an 8-core, 16-thread, kind of insane for a laptop. It's like 8
Pedro,
cores,
I just found something. I don't necessarily... Okay, €8.99, right? Okay, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. Now I want a USB attachment to do this. Infrared biometric camera you can use to run sudo commands. Yes, I want that on my desktop.
Yeah, it just
Sudo?
pointed at your face.
No, man.
And it scans your face. It's like, okay, facial recognition's there. Go.
I want something like this. Just give me an idea. I want to set that up to work with a fingerprint scanner. So I'm like,
you can do it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I know it's doable. I just want to do it. Do it with like. See if
I know,
can make
because a couple of the laptops I have fingerprint sensors. So it's like, oh, enter your pseudo password. It's like, oh, there we go.
and set it up to use like, I don't know, my pinky toe. To make sure.
But yeah, it's the new Slimbook. It's the 3rd gen, as they're calling it, and you can customize it. There's a couple of options, but well, this isn't the only laptop that we have to talk about, and there was another laptop that Jill found that also uses the Ryzen 7 4800H, which is the Tuxedo. The Tuxedo Pulse Ryzen, Emerald Boo.
16
Thank
threads.
you for the follow.
Don't you love living in 2020 where you see that and you're like, oh,
It's so nice.
On a sub $1,000 laptop? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. You would have never got that unless AMD had actually given Intel something to worry about. So, yeah, no, the Tuxedo one is, well, it's more than a little too similar to the KDE Slimbook, because it's the exact same laptop, except this one is black and the other one is silver. That's it. That is the difference. And yeah, they are the exact same. I'm assuming Clevo. It's either Clevo or the other one.
HDMI port on it.
It does.
Yeah,
and
which is awesome.
Type-C connector that can't be Thunderbolt because Intel would sue them if it was. And yeah.
Wait a minute. It's got one of those pop-out full-size Ethernet noodle receptacles that you will break immediately.
Which actually, some of the Dells that we have at work have those, and thus far, they haven't broken. And yeah, no, as far as like I/O goes, for a very thin laptop, it's amazing. And again, 8 cores, 16 threads. But yeah, no, so since both the KDE Slimbook and the Tuxedo Pulse are the same, I decided, you know what, let's spec out one of each. And there'll be a link in the show notes for the 2 configurations that I got. With the 1080p screen, 16 gigs of RAM, and the 4800H and 500 gig NVMe SSDs. It was the Tuxedo was 1086 euros and the KDE Slimbook was 1059 euros. So yeah, in my opinion, given the past reviews of both the KD Slim books and the tuxedos, Tuxedo still wins because they actually let me specify, oh, you can have 2x8 sticks instead of a single by 16. And you can select the Portuguese keyboard specifically rather than just select this and then tell us in the comments and we might think about it. So yeah, I'd pay the extra 30 euros if I was looking to spend 1,000 euros. I'd gladly spend the extra 30 to make sure that I got the 2x8s and the Portuguese keyboard. Very much so.
Right on, right on. What do we have?
Oh, very
next?
cool.
Oh,
yeah. So we have Chrome OS. Let's just say an alternative to Chrome OS called Ubuntu Web. And its Ubuntu Web is going to use Firefox instead of Chrome. Now, I think this is actually a really good idea. It would be nice to have a competitor to Chrome OS with the Firefox. But it is, you can just use any Linux distro, including Ubuntu, and turn Firefox into a web kiosk. That's actually easy to do. But it is a good idea to have one that's already pre-compiled with everything you would need to surf the web with Firefox on Ubuntu for a lighter laptop, and have that competitor to Chrome OS. So I think it could be really, really promising for the future. We need a competitor to Google right now.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, before you get too terribly excited, head over to our open source. And you pointed out this kid, and that's not shame, he's like a teenager. Spawn 2 distros already, and they're hosted on Mediafire and Mega. There's some issues, but he's undoubtedly talented. And so, hey, man, maybe he'll stick with us. That's kind of like the big takeaway from this. This is a good idea. I would like to see something like that. The Chromium version of Chrome OS, or maybe
Chrome OS, yeah.
What about Edge OS? We get a Microsoft person.
That's just Chrome OS. Come on.
Hey, man. Yeah. This one says Edge on it. It's
Chromium.
But, the Ubuntu-based Firefox OS, the actual Firefox OS kind of flopped. Is this a good idea?
Yeah, because it is Ubuntu-based, which everyone is using, and people are already installing Ubuntu on their Chromebooks. So why not?
I'm going to have to wait and see.
Yes.
It definitely falls under neat, but I mean, I could say the same thing about Chrome OS. I mean, it's neat and for like schools and stuff like that. I'm down with it for practical usage. For me, I'm like, it's got too many features. Give me a tablet. So,
but yeah, it's a laptop, mostly mobile, low power device oriented OS, which gives you access to all of the Android apps, which is a big selling point. Let's be honest.
I don't know, man. It definitely looks like Apple took a look at Chrome OS and like, hold my sake.
iPad OS.
We're going to have iPads on iBooks, and that's the iFuture. But alternatives, always awesome. Good to see it. All right, you perpetual hipster. What do you got?
Oh, this is really cool. This is Min. This is a new light, fast, and secure web browser for Linux. And it's actually created with Electron. And despite that, it still runs very fast.
The browser in Electron. The joke has come full circle.
Well, we're done. We're out.
Yeah. But it was created with CSS and JavaScript. And I've been really liking the workflow of this, the workflow of Min. What's really neat is when you create a tab to do a search, you click the tab bar at the top and you can do a search, and you can add bookmarks by doing bang add bookmark. It's got bookmarks. It's got, oh gosh, lots of really neat controls for also making a custom task manager where you can add different tabs to tasks. In fact, I'm doing that right now for the show. I've got the web pages that we're looking at today in my tasks, and I actually created that about a day ago, so I can easily access them for the show. And it's just got a lot of really neat features that you're not used to in web browsers, but once you get used to the workflow, it's really zippy and fast. And I've been very impressed with it for a web browser, more for reading than, you can do YouTube on it as well, but it's more for reading articles and whatnot. So it's a nice and slim and very, very fast, and I recommend it.
The GitHub, it's just mini browser if you want to go pull that up, / building NPM. Oh, yeah.
You can get it, download the deb.
Okay, that's done. Pedro, are you excited about multiple browser options outside of Firefox and Chrome and Chromium and Chrome Beta and
Vivaldi and Opera and Epiphany and Midori and
yeah, there's a lot of options.
And Brave and Dolphin. Conqueror.
Conqueror.
Yeah,
Conqueror.
you can use
that's
Conqueror.
one of my favorites. But this one is faster. It's actually faster at loading those pages, especially because it gets rid of
Electron-based browser.
Yeah.
This is kind of the thing where I'm at.
But it's very efficient. It's a Chromium-based
Electron,
browser.
and we're still using Chromium. Are you impressed?
Yes.
It's like, how many levels deep do you need to go to find a Chromium?
Only the owl knows, man. Only the owl knows. That's neat. I got to be honest. It's probably been 10 years since I've worried about browser performance, because we live in a world now where you have octo-core laptops that are affordable.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I'm
So
not saying
true.
that's necessarily a good thing. Because, oh no, we'll just throw more resources at it. High modern development. But it's good to see something like this. I'd have to try before I buy, because Electron is the new Flash.
Well, being able to type commands, a lot of users who love to use console, this is great for them. So
Getting the type of people who like to do everything on a console, like, here, install Electron. No.
No.
but doing, Bing add to task, Bing add bookmarks. It's really it reminds me a little bit of the Netscape days. So I liked it. I'm liking it.
The rest of us who lived through the Netscape days are like, yeah, that's nice. Have fun.
Yeah, no, I'm totally okay with the current state of browsers, mostly because I didn't live through the Netscape days, but I had to learn what a Firefox was when Firefox was not as good as it is right now. So
Yes.
Firefox was a business back in the day, man. And, they're definitely making like tracks to get back there. I mean, yeah. So
just don't go back there with the really choppy performance, please.
Yeah.
competition's good. Speaking of competition, PeerTube has a little bit of news. We're talking about version 2.3. It is out. It's got a couple of things. I was just scrolling through this. You don't know about PeerTube? It's like federated YouTube, right? Is that a fair description? I think that's a fair enough description for it.
Yes.
Couple of things in this. The two big ones that I took away, because I think they're going to be used in conjunction with one another. There's a new report feature, and inside of that is intellectual property violations.
Someone is breathing down their neck.
I am just saying, when PeerTube was first rolling out, we didn't set up our own instance. We were using a PeerTube instance, and I did my best to put everything on PeerTube up until I hit a size limitation. I'm like, hey, you've used up all your storage, to which I had to go, okay, sorry. I love the project. I think it's a fantastic idea, so I always want to give it a plug, because YouTube's got everything locked down. Tools like this might help adoption, especially Because what I'm sure it's not getting better, but it was mostly just pirated content being slung out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pirated and adult content.
Yes.
And I'm going to say,
And pirated adult content.
here's the thing. It makes it very difficult for discovery when you're like, hey, do you want to see our show? Lost in a sea of just video dump. So
Yeah. That is the sad thing. There are lots of Linux videos on there, which is really good. And I'm really happy that we're having continued support of PeerTube at such a fast pace. They're really innovating it, and I'm looking forward to the live option in the future they have been talking about. So that's definitely a thing. Once they go have that live option, I think it's going to be a big game changer, especially to have an open source live option other than Twitch and YouTube. So really cool.
And two things that there's a PeerTube plugin, auto mute, so you can mute people, kind of like on Twitter, where you, trust me, mute people, don't block them. They find out if they're blocked. And also one for just auto blocking videos from creators and content. You're like, I don't want to see any of that. Yep. So that could help filter out, just some of the static and noise that's being published. So I want to say good on that. Yeah. Pedro, what are your thoughts? You're awfully silent, you YouTube-loving monster.
Admittedly, I spend a lot of time during the day on YouTube. Not that I'm necessarily paying attention, because I'm usually, either doing work or playing a game, so it's just the background noise. But yeah, the idea of literally anything that could provide an alternative to YouTube is good. It's great. It's amazing. I'm not entirely sure PeerTube is quite there yet, but maybe in the future?
Possibly. What do we have up next? Oh, yeah.
The Thimbleweed developer.
This is what
Thimbleweed
put in.
man. This definitely happened. He's had a chain of posts. This comes from r_Linux_gaming. And he was on a Mac. And this is just something that I want everyone to keep track of, maybe help the guy along. Because he's got a lot of blog posts. He was running on just a Mac. Now he's picked up a Dell XPS 13 running on Ubuntu Budgie for now. And he's just cutting through it, man, because it finally clicked. And his brainmates, he's like, Apple's not going to be supporting desktop development very long. And Apple's like, no, we're not. Because when you think about it, like up until very recently, someone's like, well, I need something I can develop for Mac OS, Windows, what should I buy? And it's like, I hate the price of the things, but get a MacBook Pro. It's going to do, that's not going to be the case with non-x86 parts. It's like, yeah, maybe I should be moving over. So, he's talking about his first Linux laptop, his Linux first post, issues that he's run into with password managers and stuff like that. It's a fun read, and I'm paying very close attention to it because a lot of developers are MacBook devs. And because that makes the most sense. It's portable. They can do both operating systems. They can even fire up a Linux VM every now and then. I'm curious to see if we're going to see more people switching to something. Or are they going to go to Linux? Or because, there's a very good thing that's pointed out. It's like, what about Windows? It's like, Windows isn't a real operating system. Valid point. Touche. So, I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. Jill?
Yeah, so
Paper's like, yeah, that's all I got.
I was waiting. so yeah,
I'll do it after Jill.
So after the Grumpy Gamer, once he finds all the Linux alternatives to the productivity apps he's used to on the Mac, he won't be grumpy anymore. That's just a learning curve of a new Linux user. Once they find the alternatives to what they need.
Yeah.
Once you get fully locked in and you have to deal with people who sometimes treat an operating system like a religion, you ascend in grumpiness. You double down on it. You're like, okay, this is the game I must play. But I do like he's pointing out that he's looking forward to being able to do everything from Linux.
Right? Correct. Yeah. Using the game engine and, creating.
Which is why I would very much like the Arch crowd to keep it to themselves on this one, please.
Nope, you gotta run Arch. He's
trying to do actual work. He doesn't have time to play with your favorite toy. Okay? Okay.
I'm angry at you. You don't know what you're talking about, Matt Reed.
Just a little request from me.
I just got to be honest, man. Most of the people in the comments are being, hey, man, I love it. Plug what you use, 100% for that. But you got to understand there's a different needs for development, production, stuff like that. You don't want to run the latest and greatest, man. Sometimes you want to run the most stablest. And, if he's going to be running like 2004, once just 1804. But that's where he wants to be. And I'm reading through the comments. I've been keeping an eye on this since earlier this week. And everybody's being cool, man. They're like, hey, this is what I'm looking for QT development and stuff like that. And just walking them through it, which that's what the community should do. That's the right way to do it.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I just want to give everyone battery safe. Battery safe. A Python
like
daemon.
A Sultan battery? Oh, the lithium ion pad. Never mind.
When you should plug and unplug your computer. The need for this project was born out of my carelessness for letting my previous MacBook charge for hours until my battery stopped holding charge, and I had to move to a new machine. Well, okay. I started reading this, man. I did. I started reading this, and you're dealing with that lithium ion. So I'm going to be honest, that sounds like maybe you had a bad charger in your Mac. Something was scrambled up a little bit because, any half-designed charge circuit is going to be able to handle that, man. It should, 100%. Now, with your charger, if the battery's not in use, it's going to flip over to a trickle charge. It's not going to be pumping a lot of voltage into your battery. It's barely going to be topping it up. And modern stuff is just going to run it directly from the mains if it's been plugged in. So, these are not, when I say modern, I'm saying something made in the last 10 years, man. And this is going to notify you if it's like, hey, it's full, unplug it. Okay, that's the thing. Then if you plug it back in, you're starting a new charge cycle. A wear cycle on lithium ion, and you only get so many of those before you start losing cells. And you're like, well, how come? Hey, look, I'm at 10%. You have that cliff that you'll end up with. So I just wanted to. The reason I'm bringing this up, man, is don't use something like this. Okay, you got a modern piece of equipment. You can leave it plugged in. It's not going to hurt it unless it blows up, explodes, jumps off your desk, kicks down your back door, and runs screeching into the night. Then you can blame me. But outside of that, fine.
Also, why were you keeping an emu as a pet?
Because it was delicious.
Yeah. Okay. So I can see this really useful for, if you collect older vintage laptops like I do with the cadmium batteries, it would be helpful to have those notifications.
Yes.
Especially because the older batteries, back in the day, you didn't want to keep them plugged in because it would ruin the battery. So
yeah, with the cadmium batteries, you absolutely wanted to do like the full cycle. You charge it till it was at 100%, then you unplug it, let it drain until it's almost empty, and then plug it in and do it like that. Because if you didn't do it like that, they would lose their ability to retain any kind of charge. We live in the lithium ion world now. That, if you're actively using it, keep it plugged in. If you're not actively using it and you're not going to need that battery for any time soon, between like 60% and 80% charge and put it away. I say.
So what are your charging recommendations for NIMH and Zinc Air?
When they run out. I don't know. The nickel batteries and the zinc batteries, I don't really. I suppose the batteries in the Steam controller.
Your Amazon rechargeable batteries are in IMH.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Everyone thinks when they think rechargeables. Fortunately, I don't think kids do these days, but you're thinking of nickel cadmium, which those things were junk because you could recharge them, but they would hold a charge about as long as the smell stays in a room. But yeah, modern rechargeable batteries are brilliant. Hundreds of charge cycles, and then lithium ion, that's still a dark art. You really don't even know how much charge it really has in it. There's a charging circuit because of that. And don't live dangerously. Don't wear it down unnecessarily, especially considering most modern laptops. What do you do with a battery when it's dead? Apple laughs at you, takes it up back, blows it up, gives you a new one. That's not just an Apple thing. Get ready to peel something out that's glued in.
Because that cell's going to peel itself out. It's just going to swell up and go.
I did that with my Nexus 10, man. The last battery
is it still in the dryer bin?
My Nexus 10 was never in the dryer or oven.
The battery.
The battery. I'm more curious as to why you thought I have a tablet in the oven and or dryer.
I meant the battery. You had one you thought was going to explode. So for a long time you had it. It was either in the dryer or the oven. I couldn't remember where.
There's places I could go with this, but I'm going to choose not to. But I will take this moment to mention Linux Gamecast. We're on Patreon. That's how we support the show. We don't do ads. We don't bombard you with crap. You might not like what we say sometimes, but at least you know we're honest. We got a bunch of the levels. We got Cherling, Death Notes, Sea Monsters. 6 more? Boop. Yep. Chicago kicks ours. Executive producers, and we have one spot for executive producers and advisor level. Each of those comes with a handy, dandy, nifty, mostly non-flammable Discord reward and some other things. You know, you get a lot for your money, man. We're kind of like that. You get some early access and stuff. You get a custom podcast we have just for our patrons. That's a production meeting each and every week. But thank you, each and every one of you who've kicked in. We get a new Death Note.
Yeah, Romeo Sid Vicious is back as one of our patrons. It's awesome.
Right on.
He actually kicked in during the show. It's like,
yeah,
very good.
That's sincerely brilliant, man. That's how we do what we do. This is most definitely not brought to you by beef jerky. Action jerky.
Not at the time, no. Let's just say I still have a few packets left.
Hey, man, maybe Microsoft. Microsoft call me. I'll just butcher whatever product it is. I mean, I'll take your money, is what I'm saying. We can use that for hosting and buying some new stuff. But yeah, that'd be fun. This thing's horrible. Does Microsoft have any? Send me a game controller.
Oh, I want one of the elite ones.
Yeah, with the so you have all the different sizes of nubbins.
Yes.
I don't want to test this because I know I'll eventually walk into someone's house with this $200 controller and I will judge them differently. Really? I like to think I'm better than that. I just don't ever want to have to test it. I'm trying to be a good person. Let's get into a slice of pie. A little bit we like to cover each and every week of tiny things powered by
high contrast
thunder
pie.
lightning.
Yeah, very.
And first up, it's Wimpy's new little side project. He's been doing a lot of stuff with the Raspberry Pi. If you haven't been catching his live streams on YouTube, he's been doing a lot of stuff with the Raspberry Pi. And the latest thing is to create a retro remix version of Ubuntu that you can use to play your retro games. You get
Frostbites. Okay. You have the mental image of the returned video of Frostbites of the article I was just reading?
Yes.
Okay. I enabled JavaScript.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No
What's
chill.
wrong with your face? I'm in website.
Yeah.
Or the article. I'm just like, what are you here for?
Clearly not to read the article because you're not letting me.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a video of the live stream that Wimpy did setting up the Ubuntu Retro Remix. And you get all of the emulators, like the old retro emulators that work on the Raspberry Pi out of the box. And it's properly set up so that everything works as quickly as possible. Not everything will work out of the box, obviously.
Okay,
like the older stuff.
Pedro, I want you to have some fun because this is like,
Okay.
he's typing in Launchpad into the Google browser.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody leave a comment on the video and be like, yo, you might want to go double check your browser history there. Just
It's notice. Yes.
no, there's nothing there.
It's just to get people. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Was there something there?
Just leave that. just so you can get like, oh, thanks, Satan. I really needed that heart attack. That would be me. Don't do it. I'm joking.
Oh. Well, Wimpy is always trying new things, and he learns a lot along the way, and this brings so much progress to Ubuntu, and that's what makes Martin Rimpress the perfect Ubuntu desktop lead. He's always trying new things and very progressive and trying remixes of Ubuntu and doing things with it and making awesome videos. And I heard he just got controller support and hardware acceleration working on his retro remix. So, very cool.
This next thing I have is the name alone makes you like, hey, okay, we can be friends. It's called Kneecap Open Motion. Doesn't that sound fun? That sounds like something you'd want to invite over for dinner.
Yes.
It sounds like something you would want to invite over for dinner as long as you didn't owe it money. Yeah.
Yes. Because are we talking like melee weapons? Or
no, baby.
Oh, no, it's a mocap thing.
I'm talking about open source
Yes.
Arduino. Motion capture suit tutorial. They're going to walk you through it, all the bits you need. It's completely open source. There's a couple of notes, This is basically a script they've put together that works in conjunction with Blender, but you must install like PySerial to get everything working. They still need to fill in some big honking gaps on their GitHub page. But, that's just as far as like getting it built and how it works. But man, that's neat. Is it not? That's something that you can stick together and do a homebrew mocap. That is, listen, man, you're not dealing with like 100 points on one body, but come on, that'll get the job done if you want to make something. But there it is on GitHub. Again, all of this is, there's your Blender. They just need to fill some stuff in. But yeah, I wanted to give a little mention because I was like, that is neat.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
a really
neat,
good
and
find.
how smooth it is. Because you could tell that it wasn't picking up on all of the motions, but the transition from the motions that it does pick up, like from one to the other, it's very smooth. That's very nice.
Man, I will finally be able to mocap a bowl of spaghetti.
Noodles.
Well, I'm looking forward to showing this as a low-cost way of doing this for my students. Back in the day, we used to use the Microsoft Kinect and set up capture suits with that. So this is even easier and cheaper, and it looks better.
Yep.
Good job.
Pretty neat. What is this? 4K 60 camera solution. All right. You got my attention.
Yeah. So this is called the Luxonis Depth AI. That was what it was originally called. And last year in August on LWW 182, we talked about this new computer vision carrier board for the Raspberry Pi. And now they have a mini one called Mega AI, which is really awesome. And like Ven was saying, it's 4K, 60 frames per second camera solution for computer vision. And it's powered by Intel's Myriad X chip. And it combines depth perception, object detection, and object tracking using hardware and software. And what's really cool is that it's on Crowd Supply now and Kickstarter. So
now, I'm going to say set expectations accordingly. This is 12 megapixel sensor. So
yeah. It's low, but
going
that's
to be some crunchy 4K lab.
It does have hardware encoding with a 265 at 30 and JPEG encoding. So
yeah, but that's all it needs for doing like infrared detection and whatnot for collision detection. So
I'm thinking more about the object tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, it's like, okay, so why is it $200 though? And then Jill is like, oh, it's got the Intel chip. That's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Myriad. And yeah, so the Myriad X chip, helps. It's a hardware accelerated solution for the Raspberry Pi for doing computer vision. So that's where it makes this stand out. So because the Raspberry Pi on its own isn't quite powerful enough to do it as efficiently.
And it makes perfect sense. I mean, it's definitely better than the Intel NUC AI kit, which is going to run you close to 900 watts sticky US caches. Because this thing's clocking in during the Campagan. You're looking at $169. You're talking like 6 watts versus 50 watts, 12 megapixels versus 1 for the NUC, 4K UHD, let's say that, versus 720p. Yeah. I mean, if this does everything it says on the tin, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Amazing. Just an awesome project.
And the campaign was successful, so yeah, it will be coming.
Yes, Arthur, and anything NUC related is Intel pricing, man. How?
Yep.
Yeah, I want NUC.
It was hard to justify before. What are you doing now?
It's more of a curiosity. It's a look. Listen, man, Intel's going to become a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Intel is going to become the Apple. Okay, right.
Yeah. It's going to be a little I, Intel. If you want to tell us about your projects, your thoughts, your hints, your allegations, man, maybe just scream in our direction, send us some verbal hugs by way of your keyboard. How can you go about doing that?
You can press that keyboard into our mailbox or slip it under our feet as we're walking down the street. But the best way to actually get in touch with us is to use that keyboard to type linuxgamecast.com into the address bar of your web browser.
I don't like the way that looks. And,
it's not NVIDIA. You can't do that.
Oh, no. Hang on.
Not the N. In tall or okay, there you go. Intel all caps.
But yeah, just hit the contact button and fill out the form. LWDW is this very show that you probably should send your feedback to, or you may otherwise unwittingly send some hate mail for that other show. Send it there.
If you're going to be sending links, press release or something like that, and you're like, yo, I'd like to come talk about a project that I'm working on, send that to show at Linux. The instructions are on the page.
Yeah, so, right at the top of the page.
No. It's cute because some people lack reading comprehension, but they make up for it in persistence because maybe once a month I'll go check the service that we have that filters this, that puts everything in packages. And I'll see somebody just hammering. I was like, you spent 10 solid minutes trying to get that through, didn't you? True story. So, Chips, man. Chips has written this.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read this. This is for Pedro. So in LWW 232, Pedro regales us with his dream of a phone compute stick convergence. I've heard some speculation that this would be the ultimate eventual form of the ARM-based Mac under development. Does this mean Pedro dreams of Macs? ? And would you switch, Pedro? ? That's funny, Chibsy. But good question.
No. Also, Robot Pedro does not dream of electric Macs. No, I want that, but I want that for x86 64 because that's where all my games are. And yeah, I want that mythical x86 64 phone that you take with you during the day, and it's got like 4 teeny tiny cores, ARM style, for battery savings. And then you come home, you plug it into the dock, and the 8 big cores with SMT and everything else come online, and the phone basically becomes just the processor and RAM. And you might be going, wait a second, processor and RAM, what about the storage? Because like eMMC is the slowest thing on the planet right now, and it is the bottleneck on most phones. The dock would be connected to an external enclosure that would include a GPU and an NVMe drive. That's the way I'm seeing it. I'm sure someone will find a way to include an NVMe drive on a phone at some point. We're not there yet. And x86 64 on this particular form factor is not there yet. But I would very much like that to be the case. In the not too distant future, please.
Eventually,
looking forward to that convergence.
Not too far from now is we're going to be living in a world with not one, but 3 competing global satellite internet providers. What makes more sense to me is, especially what Microsoft's definitely working on, is streaming. Not your game, but your desktop. So then all of a sudden your power requirements for your mobile device become nothing. Can you decode a X265 or X26, whatever it is, screen, AV1 or AV3, whatever it becomes? Because indoors and outdoors, I mean, you're not going to be needing to carry the hardware with you. This is another argument against convergence. By the time the amount of engineering to make a device like that, like, you're just going to be streaming a desktop, because we're almost at the point with low-cost consumer hardware. You can stream a very good-looking video game.
Mm-hmm.
Its difficulty is compared to streaming a desktop.
Where it's mostly static imagery, yes.
Yeah, a web browser. Okay. Your email. Your TikTok. Okay, I think I can swing that.
Yeah.
So then you just have a big block of battery that doesn't use any power. How often do you charge that? Every other week or so.
Well, screencasting
and as long
is a
as
thing
space internet
already. So
space internet. I don't know, man. Those are my thoughts, but we'd most definitely like to hear yours. That's gonna do it. I think we'll roll some credits. We're running a little bit long, but that's okay. That's okay when you're having fun.
It was a big show.
Yes.
That's the wrong song.
Yay!
You can't cheer, Jill. Not for the wrong song.
Yep, there we go. There's
Saturday.
There's our LWWs.
How dare you?
Yay! Oh, and thank you to Romeo Sidvicious once again. You are our new Death Note in Discord.
Saw the executive producer. Goodness.
Yes. And the
Look at all
producers.
those.
And you all are crazy. I keep saying it. No one believes me. Y'all are insane. But if you weren't, I wouldn't like you as much.
Jim's plugs.
Oh
Yay,
yeah,
PowerShell on
Linux.
Yay.
And library. Someone's library.
Yes.
You will obey the library. Library.
Library.
Liberal library.
Library.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
We're all a little bit crazy.
Yes. Long show.
Barbara, what's going on with your Mastodon instance thing? I saw the, you were saying you...
Hey, Barbara. Good to see you.
Said your account was suspended.
Ooh.
It's all sorted. All right.
Okay, cool.
Maybe you hadn't used it forever and it unsubscribed you.
A French Canadian's running it, so there's no telling.
Oh, you forgot you already had an account.
Well, look, you're doing better than Pedro. Pedro hasn't forgot he has an account. He just doesn't use it.
Yes.
I do. I use it like once a week. Like I have it send my tweets.
It's
to
adorable.
Mastodon.
Jill's like, I'm doing the show. It's awesome. Here's 2 pictures of me.
Oh yeah, so that is an error with the code of the program that I used, the script I used for that. It's a website I went to that I found on GitHub that shares tweets to Mastodon. I did that instead of using an if this then that like I use for my other
So now,
social networking.
now you're just straight up.
But-
It's like, I don't really use it. I got a program that sends stuff to it.
Yeah. Well, no, I do, but I do read through them.
Sometimes
like
I do
Artane
that
is on
just
there
to
a
see how
lot.
you're going to walk out of the corner.
Artane is on a lot, and I always read what Matthew has been writing and what you've been writing, Ven, and I share the shows. And there's a couple other people on there that I talk to that used to be only on Google Plus that are only using Mastodon. I've actually got quite a few
Mastodon is where
followers now.
Strider goes to not be politically correct, which is amazing.
That kid just rants, man. That's
But I get messaged on Mastodon like once a week by different people. So it's I'm glad I'm on there.
Every now and then I'll log into Mastodon and I'll see, oh, look at all these people that followed me. It's like, all right, follow back,
Yeah.
follow back,
Yeah.
follow back, follow back, follow back. And then I never go back.
I mean, it's just another thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Mastodon stuck around a lot longer than most of them.
Yes. Well, a lot of people that refuse to use Discord are on Mastodon. We have quite a few followers that only will use Mastodon.
Yeah, I can't cater to like personal problems, though.
But, well, I make sure to interact with them.
Okay.
A lot of people are excited. Oh, Jill has a Mastodon account. Good. Because they, were trying to get us on Mastodon for so long, the developers. And we finally did it. And,
Yeah, Google Plus was a really nice social media because all of those people thought it was a ghost town, which means they weren't there.
yeah.
I realize that, Pedro.
Which made it so much better.
The other one I'm signed up to is MeWe, because a lot of the YouTube Linux streamers use it, and I've actually gotten messages on there, and I post our show on MeWe. And MeWe is kind of nice because it's like a Google Plus in that it has the circles that you subscribe to, but there's hardly anyone on there. It's like there's less people on there than Mastodon, but I'm on there.
Oh, Parler, is that a new one?
Listen, man, we're pretty straightforward. We're available on YouTube, Twitch, and OnlyFans. I mean, that's it.
Matrix is kind of the new big one that's getting a lot of press right now that
Matrix
people are
has been
starting
out
to use more.
forever, man.
It has.
Here's
It's
the
called
problem
Element
with
now.
all of the decentralized stuff is that's not how people communicate. It's the discoverability. Like, there's the reason the centralized hub has always worked.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a billion of them. There always has been. ICQ, man, come on.
Yeah. I still have my account with them. It's still active. Not many people are on
What's
it.
your AIM
but
number?
It was my
AIM number?
original.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's screen names on
Yeah.
Or was it ICQ that had the number? I don't remember.
ICQ had the numbers child.
ICQ.
Yeah. I don't know. My messenger IM thing was MSN because I was using Windows at the time. And then I started using Linux. It's like, oh, Pigeon can do MSN, can it? All right. There, done.
Yeah, game, man. Yeah, there's some people that only talk through Facebook Messenger. I know these people exist, and I want them to stay there.
Yeah.
I work with some of those people.
I hate it. Yeah.
I use Discord. I mean, everyone's Discord's got it cracked for as like usability. Like, I'm not downloading it. It's a website. What? And you give them like 5 minutes, they'll come back with something else. I'm like, yeah, all right. Really? IRC's still around, man. I mean, we have an IRC room, so I mean, it's tied into
And
our
it gets
live chat.
actively used.
Yeah, there's people in it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I haven't signed into recently is our ICQ room.
Yeah, no. What's the XKCD number for the Overmind? Yeah, that one. Everyone's just joined with the Overmind. Can't you just look? I have it set up the way I want. Okay.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm predominantly using IRC now for Jupiter broadcasting, and yeah, because they're still on IRC. But I still log into our
right.
I still log into our LGC Weekly one
You gotta go where
occasionally.
people are, and you gotta go where the community base is, and like it or not, community bases on Discord. That is like this is one of the issues I have with Outdoor. They're like, well, you need to come over to the IRC. No, I don't. Not gonna happen. Not gonna see me in your IRC because
Even Fedora's on Discord. Can we stop pretending?
Right. Like you need to have a Discord instance.
Yeah, most of the other Linux podcasters use Telegram, and I'm on Telegram too. I'm active on there.
I have a Telegram account. I haven't used it in many moons.
Oh, you should see Wimpy and Popey.
Yeah, I started using it
all
because
on
of
Telegram.
Wimpy. It's like, oh yeah, no, Telegram has got all the things. So I joined a bunch of channels, and there were a bunch of Portuguese channels. Joined those two. I haven't been there in months.
Oh, I'm there every day too. Not as much as Twitter and of course Discord, but that's where Destination
Discord
Linux
is
is.
just
That's where Jupiter
always
Broadcasting
running
is.
There and on the phone. So
Have so many social networking accounts now. That's why I have to do if this then that or do custom scripts to go from one to the other because it gets too much.
Joe, I don't think anybody's
Twitter and
surprised
Discord.
that you're hoarding social media accounts. You do say there's a common thread, right?
Yeah.
oh, Bumble is still a thing.
Oh yeah.
If you play Microsoft Flight Simulator, the way that they do the attempted realism role play type of situation is through Mumble, and they have like rooms with the different frequencies, so that you jump from one room to the other if you want to change frequency. Yeah, that's the Mumble target audience right there.
Yeah, I'm
What you gotta
heavily
think
on
about
Mumble as
is
well.
Facebook, you did it good the other day. You sent me a notification from a Facebook account I didn't even remember that I had. And you're like, hey, you haven't been around in a while. I'm like, oh, okay, now I can go delete that.
Oh. I mostly use Facebook for LGC just to share our shows with all my friends. And once a week, I use it to catch up with family because it's where my brother is and nephew and family. So,
Yeah, we have, the forum's mostly there for archival issues, reasons. Because we had that before we had Discord. I mean, I didn't want to burn like 6-7 years worth of conversations that took place. So
yeah.
I've imported that and embedded it into WordPress. I mean, it's still usable, but everybody just uses Discord now.
I like how necroed that particular thread got, Strider. Specifically by Strider.
What?
Yeah.
The thread that Strider just posted on the forums. It was a Linux new telling Tom Duchesne something about setting up a Xenonic server. And that was in 2013. And then Strider comes in 2017.
Oh, that's pretty funny. You know, I think I did look at that recently because I've done a couple posts on there years ago.
Last time I saw Orn was on the Twitter IMs.
Yeah,
You
on
can
Twitter.
always find
was-
Oren. Oren will attempt to contact you in the most annoying way possible.
Yeah,
Repeatedly.
he's contacted me on Mastodon.
Yeah, he was asking, he's like, oh, so jobs in Portugal. It's like, dude, I left Portugal because I couldn't get a job there. I am the worst person to be asking that.
Why would you want to go from like Sweden to Portugal? I mean, Don't like
he
the
was in
cold?
Sweden, then he went to Spain, and he doesn't like Spain, so he was trying to go to Portugal because he did spend some time in Portugal, apparently. And he really liked it there. And yeah, no, seriously, dude, I'm the worst person to be asking that, because in Portugal, you either know someone, or you can F off.
Nepotism, baby.
Yep. It is nepotism, the country.
You can bribe somebody, though.
You can make real good friends with someone, go out drinking with them, and maybe drop the casual line saying that you might be looking to get a job. That might get you in the door.
I just don't have straight up financial money. There you go. Especially if you want a government position.
Oh, yeah.
Also, don't take advice from me on getting a job in Portugal. Might get you impounded.
Basically, don't start with the bribes, because if you're looking for a job, chances are you're already counting the money. Yeah. Make friends with people.
Headhunters
Like, drop a hint here and there.
Headhunters are a nuisance, man. Oh, recruiters and headhunters.
Weekly Planet 516. Hello.
Do I have the, what happened to our little...
Weekly Planet. I think I know your name.
Do I just not have that?
Do you hang out on other Linux podcasts? Most likely.
It's Streamlabs. This is our 4-way box. Where's that missing from then?
Weekly Planet 516. That was Jill's not so subtle way of asking, who are you?
Yeah.
Being nosy.
Yeah. I mean, Aw. He could be a new person to Linux as well.
So let me copy this over. And why is the sub box not? I need to paste as a reference. That's odd.
Is it on a lower layer?
No, it's at the very top now. I was like,
Oh.
I mean, it's showing up in the properties. I mean, it's there. Now it's there twice.
Right click center? Right click transform center. That'll put it smack in the middle of the scene.
Really? Really, Pedro?
Look, I'm going through the OBS things in my head, okay? That's how my logic goes, right? I'm not saying you're stupid by pointing out the obvious. I'm stupid, so I need to point out the obvious, okay?
Okay, sounds good, Weekly Planet. I was just curious if you were from Destination Linux or Jupiter Broadcasting.
She wouldn't know where she could stalk you. That's all it was.
Because I'm on all the things.
Hey, there you are.
Where was it hiding?
Down at the bottom.
Yes.
I don't have
Welcome.
them grouped on this scene because as efficiently as possible, I duplicate wherever I can. We'll paste as reference as opposed to a hard duplication. And on the 4-way scene, I can't use because I have groups that I just moved to all the different scenes. This one has to be split up because it's different. Because I was designing the 4-way shot after Chosen. So we have that now.
Yes.
In preparation and false hope, and that we will eventually get the correct drivers to make the quad HDMI work with Redripper.
Yay.
No blinky.
No blinky and no screwing with the jack. This thing just better visual example of like watching the DSP load meter once OBS starts and fires up the 4 capture ports is a conniption, a fit of one might say.
Yeah, I too played Dark Souls 3. It gives me conniptions.
Yes.
That was a good meme.
Pedro's passion.
Dark Souls 3 is the weakest of them all, in my opinion.
Dark Souls gatekeeping.
It's still better than a lot of other games, but of like that particular series of the ones I played anyway, it's the weakest. Although in a technical sense, it's the strongest because it's before Dark Souls, the first one, the remaster came out. Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 were god-awful PC ports. Like, so bad.
I kind of understand like the desire of like, hey man, I want to play this. And, you know, if you're unfamiliar with Dark Souls, it's lock on target, run around in circles, the game. Occasionally.
Oh.
Am I being slightly inaccurate, or is that 98% of gameplay in Dark Souls?
Locking on all the time will get you killed. If you just rely on that all the time, you will die.
A game people complain about dying a lot in. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Yes. But yeah, it is difficult, and it's janky. It's so janky. But that's... Again, on a technical level, Dark Souls 3 fixed a lot of those problems. Yeah, you want to talk about jank? Literally anything published by Home Focus Interactive. It's like their primo experience is jank. But yeah, no, Dark Souls 3 was very good in that respect. And if you want to... like get an introduction to Dark Souls, yeah, Dark Souls 3 is the best one to start with.
And if you don't like Dark Souls and you play Dark Souls 3, think, all right, then let's try this. You'll get about an hour in and like, this game's hard because of bad game design. I've never played Vampire. Have you played Vampire, Pedro? I'm trying to get Pedro off the Dark Souls train because he'll just go on and on about it.
Yes, I will. I like that series. I haven't played Vampire, though I have Technomancer that I need to start at some point, which is very similar.
What are the games about? I mean, he's sitting in front of the computer.
You're a doctor, and your character is a doctor, and you basically need to manage like your need to drink blood with actually healing people. That's how you get the karmic balance system going. And outside of that, it is a third-person action game with a heavy focus on the story. Or so they claim.
Man, these
I haven't actually played it, so I don't know.
Screenshots look like they've been through like a 80s softcore porn filter, man.
Yeah, what you do once you get the game installed is you remove all the blur and you remove the film grain, and then you can actually play the game as it's supposed to be played.
Sekiro. I was really I enjoyed watching the open world samurai game. Mm-hmm. What is it called? PS4 exclusive.
The Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to play that game. That is a game that I saw. I think it was Jim Sterling. It's like, oh god, I want to play that.
Pedro, if you were to play that
beautiful
game, you would have to have A, PS4, and B, a capture card.
I would also need to give Sony money for the game, which is what I don't want to do. I have the PS4 and a capture card, but I don't want to give Sony money for exclusives, which is why I haven't bought Bloodborne yet.
Why do you have a PlayStation again?
It was to play Bloodborne. I don't want to give them £30 £30 for a game that's 5 years old now? 6 years old?
Don't worry. Eventually, I'm going to just have like, you know what? I'm just going to do it mode, and I'm going to buy my Nintendo Wii and my copy of Bayonetta.
Wouldn't the Switch be better at this point?
You know, the main reason I'm getting the Wii is because everyone says buy a Switch, which if I'm going to buy a console for a game that will genuinely play one game and give the console and the game to someone,
the Switch would have takers?
no, I think the Switch might be $1 or $2 more than like the $50 I can get the Wii U for.
Cheap Wii U.
Well, the controller will. Just getting the controller for the Switch, like proper controller, not the teeny tiny little Joy-Cons.
You can get the certified ones with the tablet controller for like guaranteed to work ones for $100 all day long.
Yeah, but teeny tiny little Joy-Cons.
Why would I have teeny tiny little? See, that's another thing, man. Like, I can palm a 10-inch tablet.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually love the Joy-Cons. They fit my hands. I enjoyed playing the Switch. Although I have to have it on to send it to a TV because I can't. It's too small screen.
Yeah, no. My hands are not that big.
Yeah.
I mean, if we take the actual
Yeah.
10 inches of the screen itself, then yes. It's the rest of it, no. Nope. Neither one of the shields have exploded yet.
They did put out a notice, speaking of Sony and exploding mobile devices, for like the original PSP.
The fats?
Like the long, skinny boys.
Oh, the skinny ones or the fat ones? Because the original PSPs had like a big one, chunky.
The
and
one that's
that was
currently
slimmer.
exploding, Pedro, that one.
Is it the 1000 or 2000, 3000 series?
We're effectively at the point in the conversation of, I'm not Googling that for you.
PSP exploding.
Or recall.
Apparently one exploded in 2008. Sony shoots down PSP recall rumor in 2007.
How long did that take? Batteries of the PSP begin to swell. PSP 2004, almost 16 years ago. That's right, kids.
Wow.
Which versions?
The ones that are like swelling.
Yes, but they had like 3 different versions of the original PSP. That's
How did you embed a tweet that I can't click on? Impressive, you dumb site.
the one in 2000s used the same battery? Yes. Yeah, that's a chunky battery. So it is the OG ones. Okay. All right.
Blam.
I don't have mine anymore. I left mine with my little brother because he basically destroyed his.
That'll teach him.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm not using mine all that much, so you can has.
I have a PlayStation, but not the portable. That's one of the items I need in my collection.
My little brother also has my PlayStation 2.
So Under and Over, Scott's about to try to correct something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd gotten the original PlayStation because I was
There was a lot of typing followed by no.
no.
Yeah, I bought one like 2005, I think, because the value pack, which came with a
Spider-Man.
2 gig. It was a 2 gig memory stick Pro Duo. And a game, a Sony game with the PSP. It was like 150 euros.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I bought mine, and I ended up getting Pursuit Force, which is a game that you play as a cop that you jump from your car to the car that you're chasing. Then you shoot the people. Then you drive the car that you're chasing to chase the next car in a row. Let's just say I got very bored of that game like 10 missions in. Because it's like, oh, it's a lot of this, is it? Okay. But it had really great graphics. So boring.
Yeah, man. I had the original Game Boy, I had the TurboGrafx 16 portable, and an Atari Lynx, and that was it. Done.
The Game Boy Color and the Advance SP. The Game Boy Color I still have. The Advance SP, I remember lending it to my little brother and him taking it somewhere and losing it. Mm. I was annoyed because it was the one with, you know, the front light feature. It wasn't even backlit, but it had a front light on the screen so you could actually play without having to have a light on it.
Spoiled children. You need like the Franken attachment with the lights and speakers.
I had that for the color. I had the magnifying glass with the lights, mm-hmm. and the extra large battery attachment.
Man, the old days. The old days. The dark days. Mm-hmm. All right. I gotta make a podcast. It is 4:37. We got any closing words? What did you end up making for dinner last night, Pedro?
I made basically that in Portuguese we call it empadão, mm-hmm. Which is some people do it with rice, some people do it with potatoes. In my case, I did it with potatoes because I had a bunch of potatoes that were starting to shrivel. So it's like potatoes, leeks that were also starting to shrivel, some mince, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, and some oregano for flavor, because both myself and Nori like oregano. So yeah, it takes a while to chop everything up and get the layers right, and then it was a matter of putting it in the oven, which is why the stream was like 30 minutes late.
So you made a casserole.
Yes.
Shepherd's pie?
Yeah, shepherd's pie without the crust.
Oh, okay.
It's just a baking tray. You layer the stuff with the Parmesan on top to seal it all off. Oven.
Ravioli. Open-faced ravioli.
Again, sort of.
I like things like that because you know that doesn't exist, but you get the point across.
Yeah. Let's see. This one they made with chicken, but yeah, it's similar to that.
You really should have microwaved a few steaks and put that out.
I really don't get your obsession with microwaving steaks, but okay.
You're the only person I think I have any chance of convincing to do it at least once.
If someone did it and they gave me to try, I would absolutely try it. I'm not going to ruin a good steak for the sake of trying.
Put enough ketchup on it, you won't notice.
It's steak.
Just trying to see. And I apologize if that gives you anxiety, anyone listening at home. That's the new internet thing in Twitch chats I've realized over the past few weeks. They're like, oh, this is giving me anxiety. I was watching It's Me JP, like the cooking thing when I got home from the studio on Saturday. And you're like, oh, curl your fingers in. It's giving me anxiety. If that gives you anxiety, you need to get out of your house and find some adversity in your life.
Yeah. Also, why are you willingly subjecting yourself to something you don't want to deal with? We live in the age of choice.
Pedro, we're too old. We don't get it.
You guys are too old.
You literally live in the age where you can pick anything to do. And you can do it, and chances are you will find an audience for it.
This is true. And Jill, I said, we're too old. I didn't say we're out of touch. There's a difference.
Man!
On that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for showing up, hanging out with us in the after show. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Love you. Yes, Romeo said vicious.